I've lived in Fort Lauderdale all my life. These are my top 5 tips for your best visit. For tip number 1, I can't just say the beach. I know you're going to the beach. For tip number 1, I want to show you some beach walks that most visitors miss. For our first walk, we're going down there to where those condominium buildings are on the beach. That is the Port Everglades Inlet and Jetties. Starting from Fort Lauderdale South Beach parking lot near the Bahia Mar complex, this is a 1-mile walk. So we've reached the Port Everglades Inlet. Behind me is one of the jetties, the rock piles that protect the inlet. Port Everglades is the 3rd largest cruise ship port in the world. If you're lucky with the timing of this beach walk, you can catch the spectacle of a cruise ship leaving. This enormous vessel passes by so close my phone picked up its Wi-Fi signal. On the way back, you never know what surprises. Watch out, a shark. This is the 2nd beach walk I want to show you. We're walking up there, you can see, to the Hillsborough Inlet and the Hillsborough Lighthouse. It's about 1/2 mile. Parking for this walk is at 16th Street in Pompano Beach. So we're here at the Hillsborough Inlet. That's the Hillsborough Lighthouse that we saw from down the beach. Very scenic, private, historic spot. Not too many people walk all the way up here to find this place, which is just beautiful. With scenes like that, it seems that Fort Lauderdale could be 1/2 water. So tip number 2 is get out on the water. One great way to get out on the water is the water taxi. Some cities have a subway system. Fort Lauderdale has a water taxi system. We're starting on the water taxi in downtown Fort Lauderdale, so the first part of our trip is along here, along the New River. The notes to this video contain a link to the water taxi website and the route map, as well as links and information on many of the other places featured in this video. The water taxi boats are comfortable and easy to ride in. Some are even double-decker. The views are incredible. The water taxi stops at many Fort Lauderdale highlights. We especially like this one, Birch State Park, which has beautiful trails and native vegetation. For us, our last stop today is the iconic Shooter's Waterfront Restaurant. We're hopping off for dinner. Another way to get out on the water, besides the water taxi, is to rent a paddleboard or a kayak. So we have a choice. We can go that way or that way. We're going that way because that's against the tide, so it's easier for us coming back. One of the cool things about going that way is there's mangroves. A good place to rent paddleboards or kayaks is Sunrise Paddleboards, which was even featured in USA Today. On our way. Here is the route we took, which leads to the mangroves. As planned, an easy return with the current. Remember, this trip can be done on kayaks as well as paddleboards. My tip number 3 is don't miss the Everglades. Many visitors come here and don't see this, but you should visit. It's just amazing. A river of grass, 70 miles wide, flowing south to Florida Bay. Just alligators, snakes, sawgrass. Nowhere else in the world but here is this kind of ecosystem. And it's interesting, the Everglades come right up to this line, and then here dense urban development starts. My number 1 recommended way to see the Florida Everglades is here at Everglades Holiday Park, and go for an airboat ride. This is the closest airboat ride to Fort Lauderdale, just 40 minutes drive west, and it's really a cool Disney-like experience. You even get alligators in the wild and an alligator show. For tip number 4, I want to share with you some events you might be able to catch depending on the timing of your visit to Fort Lauderdale. The background on the first event I want to share is that Fort Lauderdale is called the yachting capital of the world and the Venice of America. So how do we celebrate Christmas? With a boat parade. This boat parade takes place along the New River and the Intracoastal on the second Saturday before Christmas. Links for more info on the boat parade and the other events I tell you about are included in the notes to this video. After Christmas comes downtown Fort Lauderdale's big New Year's Eve celebration. At midnight, they drop an anchor, continuing that yachting capital of the world theme. Another great Fort Lauderdale event is the air show. The air show takes place along this stretch of beach with this beautiful background on the first or second weekends of May. Let's see it. The last event I want to feature, which takes us through one whole year of events, is Fort Lauderdale's Day of the Dead celebration. This happens right after Halloween, and it's here along the river, along Riverwalk, which is where we started our events with the Christmas boat parade. Fort Lauderdale's Day of the Dead celebration is ranked number 1 in the United States. The Day of the Dead is a Mexican holiday celebrating family and friends who have died. The festivities include parades, masks, costumes, and music. Welcome to Las Olas Boulevard, a big Fort Lauderdale destination. This is a scenic street of upscale restaurants and upscale stores. And my surprising tip number 5 is to skip Las Olas and go to Flagler Village instead. Let me explain. Las Olas has stores like Sunglass Hut. Las Olas has a cheesecake factory. And the problem with cheesecake factories and sunglass huts is you can find them anywhere. We're in Flagler Village, less corporate than Las Olas, and certainly more artsy. It's a former rundown area next to the tracks, which has been rejuvenated with a more funky and hip mix of stores and restaurants. This is the Thrive Art Walk in Flagler Village. It takes place on the last Saturday of each month. There are links and info for this event and other Flagler Village highlights in the notes to this video. Flagler Village also features this street fair weekly on Saturdays. There's another Flagler Village highlight hidden in this nondescript row of industrial offices. It's the Empire Stage Theater. Let's go in. I love this intimate theater. Always professional plays, and the furthest seat is only 3 rows back. Catch a play here like this one if you have the chance. Flagler Village offers lots of great places to eat and drink. Gulfstream Brewing, Invasive Species Brewing. Stephanie serves awesome crepes, like this one. Sistrunk Marketplace is a great food hall with axe throwing. I hope these 5 tips have been helpful. I said at the start of this video that I have lived in Fort Lauderdale all my life. For any doubters, here's proof. I know you will enjoy your visit to Fort Lauderdale. If you have any questions for a local, please be sure and drop them in the comments and I would be happy to answer.